Salut tout le monde. Bon, du coup j'attends encore 3 petites minutes et puis après je lance le jeu. Bon, du coup j'espère que vous avez apprécié la vidéo que j'ai faite sur on a les Premonition pour ceux qui l'ont déjà vu. J'ai vu que j'avais fait quelques petites erreurs de montage, mais fallait que je la sorte à temps. Du coup j'ai pas eu le temps de peaufiner. Bon, bref. En tout cas c'est vraiment un jeu avec ouais, une identité vraiment très marquée quoi. C'est ouais, c'est un thriller quoi, mais en jeu vidéo quoi. Avec un côté assez horreur, avec des scènes assez violentes quand même. Mais ouais, après c'était pas forcément non plus que pour le côté violent, mise en scène de violence, etc. que j'avais apprécié. Hein. C'était surtout le côté en fait liberté, et, bah, comme je l'ai dit dans mon test, quoi. Enfin, dans mon avis. Donc voilà. Bon, je sais pas trop comment ça donnera au niveau du son, etc. Vu que c'est le premier live que je fais. J'espère qu'il n'y aura pas de problème de balance au niveau des différentes sources sonores. Bon, du coup, je vous montre vite fait ma collection de jeux. Ça, c'est une démo. Ça aussi. Du coup, le Xeno ouais, que j'ai fini, il va falloir que je retourne un peu dessus. Parce qu'il y a quand même quelques quêtes annexes que j'ai pas eu le temps de terminer et qui demandent d'être très haut level parce que c'est pour déverrouiller les dernières armes en fait, les plus puissantes pour chaque personnage. Donc voilà. Dandara aussi, qui est assez avec un gameplay atypique en fait parce qu'on se déplace uniquement en se propulsant de mur en mur en fait. Elle bondit en fait d'un mur à un autre mais on peut pas marcher en fait. Enfin, un Metroidvania. Après il y a quoi, Luigi's Mansion que tout le monde connaît, Ring Fit qui pour le coup ouais c'est depuis longtemps ils essaient de faire un jeu un peu sport et comment dire un jeu vidéo mais où on fait du sport en fait et là pour le coup ils ont vraiment bien réussi leur coup quoi avec le petit côté RPG avec le personnage qui évolue etc. Après ça reste assez basique hein, mais voilà puis c'est assez intense hein, quand même hein. Niveau physique faut donner quoi. Enfin bref voilà, moi je vous montrerai ça peut-être une autre fois. On va faire le tour de la collection. Bon allez c'est parti, 10 ans après Deadly Premonition 2. Alors, petit tour dans les paramètres. Général, sauvegarde automatique, langue français, fichier nom de personnage, oui. Manette, on s'en fout. Je jouerai avec la config de base. Fermé. Le carré. On dirait que ça commence avec des photos de meurtre. Ah tiens, ça me rappelle Dexter. La série. Mhm. Ouais, vous pouvez le faire fondre aussi. Hein. Et ben.
God damn it. What a way to start the new year. At this rate, I'll be dead by Easter.
Quiet down, Agent Jones. You're on the clock.
Quiet down? Ha! You have any idea what you've done? I'd be half naked in Havana right now if you hadn't shown up. Soaking up some rays, surrounded by a harem of bikini queens, a mojito in one hand, and a seafood-slathered Havana-style pizza in the other. What did I do to deserve this?
Agent Jones, don't let him take control of the conversation. The moment you let your guard down, he'll strike. And no red, remember?
Pourquoi pas de rouge?
It's open. Come on in.
Ah d'accord. Mhm. Ouais, c'est bien l'agent York.
You have questions for us. That's why you're here, isn't it?
C'est Zach pourquoi il le nomme Zach. Ouais, c'est vrai qu'à la fin il avait craqué. J'aurais dû revoir la fin du premier, je me rappelle plus. Alors depuis tout à l'heure, je contrôle pas la caméra en fait. Je peux que avancer, faire avancer le personnage. Oh, l'oued. Ah, le carré. Et le dossier sur le meurtre qui a eu lieu au carré.
Mr. Morgan, before we question you, allow me to first read you your rights. Anything you say may be used against you in a court of law. Please keep that in mind as you speak. Do we have permission to film this?
Don't worry, my fairy. They're free to do whatever they like.
Something wrong, Mr. Morgan? I'm FBI Special Agent Aaliyah Davis, and this is...
Simon Jones. An analyst from the Boston branch. He's been monitoring us for years now.
Oh, hi.
seriously.
A Southern belle and a lonesome loser who can't catch a break. Quite the uncanny duo. You'd be the perfect stars for the latest video game.
Et hop,
Isn't
le
that
quatrième
right,
heure.
my fairy? How many years has it been since someone came to chat with us? Oh, but
10 ans.
don't ask me about my fairy. That's a private matter.
En gros, allez vous
It's
faire
hard to
foutre.
tell what he's thinking, but my eyes can't be deceived. If he's hiding something, it'll come out in his face.
Mhm. Maintenir L. Ça sert à quoi ça? Des indices? Comment je fais pour le regarder là-haut? Oui, ok. Je croyais qu'il fallait fixer, mais c'est automatique en fait. Examiner, regarder.
Letters of appreciation from the governor and the Department of Justice. They're caked in dust as if he doesn't even care about them.
Voilà, examiner, c'est quoi?
You solved many difficult cases across your career, utilizing your own unique MO. You've expertly cracked cases that were otherwise thought to be unsolvable. According to our records, after joining the FBI in 2002, you quickly solved 2 drug ring-related kidnappings. In 2003, you solved the inside-out flesh skinner case in the suburbs of Pittsburgh. In 2004, the Jeffrey Dahmer wannabe case in Milwaukee. And also the stuffed human collector case in St. Louis that very same year. Then, in 2005, you coincidentally happened to solve the Lise Clarkson murder case while on vacation. You went on to solve many other cases after that, all of them seemingly inexplicable. Did you really solve these cases all on your own? There are no records of you using a wide-scale investigative team or working with anyone else. How did you ever accomplish such monumental feats?
It was all thanks to our talented partner.
Partner. The FBI files show no record of you ever working with a partner. Do you mean you worked with some sort of unofficial partner or an outside confidant?
Our partner is our partner. Besides, Belle, you're forgetting one important thing. After the St. Louis case, we stopped by a diner on our way home and caught Thelma and Louise, 2...
Troisième œil, ok, c'est ça. L'utilisation du troisième œil vous permet de déceler des éléments clés lors de votre progression dans le jeu. Maintenir L, appuyez, utiliser le troisième œil fait baisser votre concentration. Utilisez la bonne escient.
Francis Zach Morgan. He was once an FBI special agent, an extremely talented one. At least that's what they tell me. Perhaps he was a little too talented. This smell. It doesn't surprise me at this point, but it'll be problematic in court if they decide his testimony is unreliable. I won't get another chance to talk to him face to face. I need to get him to stop smoking that for a bit. Excuse me, Mr. Morgan, but would you please refrain from consuming that while we speak? I'm talking about... Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, don't get in our way and we won't get in yours.
Unfortunately, questioning doesn't work like that. Our data needs to be consistent. Now please put out that stinking indulgence right this minute.
If we say no.
Then I'll put it out myself, using force.
Whoa, whoa, Aaliyah. This is Morgan's house. Besides, it's legal in Massachusetts for individuals. And I mean, come on.
It's medicinal.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Hey, Belle. Why are you dressed so handsomely?
What are you talking about?
The thick black accessory wrapped around your neck. That's a male necktie. The color black represents confidence and interest. And your decision to wear a male tie symbolizes your declaration of war against a predominantly male society. Or perhaps it's a psychological barrier meant to hide the weakness that we admire your bravery.
I thought you retired from profiling.
Bullseye, huh? You're an easy one to read.
In order to think with society, a man must first gouge out his eyes and cut off his ears. Don't judge a book by its cover. For someone who's supposed to have been one of our best, you've got an awful eye for people. Or did all that smoke and kill all your little gray cells?
Okay, Aaliyah, that's... She's smart, but she's also more of a shrew than she lets
Ok.
Agent Jones, that's sexual harassment.
Ouais. C'est bien, elle l'a remis à sa place. Parce que
So, Belle, does that barrier of yours also protect you from...
He's more dangerous than I thought. I can't read him. I'll just have to assault him head on with questions then. First, I'll try using the files on the table to shake him up.
Alors, une partie d'échecs.
An ornate antique chessboard. Looks like he stopped halfway through the game. But who was playing with him? These files are from the case that took place just outside of New Orleans in 2000. The agent who handled the case was Francis Zach Morgan. And now he's sitting right in front of me.
Regard vide de Zach.
Mr. Morgan, may I ask you a question purely out of curiosity? If it makes you uncomfortable, just let me know. And I'll retract it.
Belle, you sure put a lot of effort into that approach.
It's a question about death.
About this body?
Are you afraid of...
Think carefully about why we're smoking this, then ask us again. Honestly, we're not afraid. Rather, we find it intriguing.
Intriguing.
Excellent.
Yes. Have you ever been to the Grand Canyon in winter?
No.
In the dead of winter, the Grand Canyon is terribly cold. Colder than you could imagine. A cold that no photograph could ever express. The sun. Powerless. And the temperature drops below zero. Right in the middle of the day.
Meaning?
Meaning, you can't really understand something until you experience it for yourself. If you want to learn more about us, you need to gain more experience. Well,
That chessboard looks rather old. And you can't even buy those ivory pieces anymore.
Right. They were banned by the CITES Treaty.
That was made in France in the 1900s. We know it's in bad taste, but the weight of the ivory just feels so good in our hands.
You play chess alone?
Is that a crime?
No. But it's a hard game to enjoy when you're all by yourself.
He's probably just replicating famous games. Or trying to solve problems from a chess workbook. Right, Morgan? I may not look it, but I'm actually a bit of a chess nut myself. When I was in school, I used to pore over every issue of Chess Life, the magazine published by the U.S.
Well, unfortunately, your guess is completely wrong, Agent Jones. He isn't replicating a famous game, nor is he solving workbook problems. There isn't a single chess book to be found in this apartment. And I didn't find any chess-related websites in his internet history. He was simply playing chess.
What's wrong with that, Belle?
I don't understand it. How could a single human being seriously play as both sides?
You just publicly confessed to stealing personal data. Seems like that's a much bigger problem.
Oh no. Everything was done in a perfectly legal manner. We simply happened to intercept a handful of data being sent out from an unknown origin.
Oh, now she's really trying to scare us. Did you hear that, my fairy? Serious nightmare fuel.
Do you remember the homicides that took place in Le Carré, Louisiana in 2005?
We solved that case.
Your report states the following. By coincidence, you encountered a serious incident in a town you visited while on vacation. You then decided to steal the right to investigate from the local law enforcement and took over the case. After several more homicides, you managed to apprehend the perpetrator.
We stole the right to investigate from them, just as you said.
It all started when the body of a 16-year-old girl was discovered. You arrived in Le Carré immediately after that, didn't you?
We just can't seem to keep ourselves away from dead girls.
Did you really visit that town just to take a vacation?
We don't know. If you already have the report, then we suggest you read it, Belle. Either way, that case is closed.
Closed? You sure about that? Don't you think this puzzle is still missing some crucial pieces?
Come on. No need to beat around the bush with us, Belle.
Que je remarque qu'il manque un truc sur la table. Il y a
Clarkson's
un triangle. Il y a une absence de poussière en forme de triangle.
It was hidden deep within the Clarkson Food Delivery Services cold storage warehouse.
After 14 years, we finally discovered the body of the very first victim. Do you know what this means? That's why we're here. The first victim in the case he solved, Lise Clarkson. This is a photograph of what she looks like now. The body that went missing for 14 years was suddenly discovered frozen in a warehouse. This is some kind of message from the victim to us.
We're pleased that her body turned up. Deeply pleased.
You claim to have closed this case, but now a lost body suddenly surfaced. Aren't you curious about the details?
Body or not, we already solved that case. Lisa's body can't change anything now. And it certainly has nothing to do with us.
I suspect the body was stored there rather than abandoned, due to the unnatural state it was found in. She was found frozen in a storage unit. Therefore, she looks exactly the same as she did when she disappeared. In fact, she's in such good condition that we can even determine the murder weapon and cause of death.
Well, good for you.
Even stranger is how unbelievably beautiful she looks. At first glance, few would guess she was a murder victim at all. She looks more like a piece of art, or a mythological figure from a painting.
This keeps getting better and better.
Better and better?
Isn't that right, my fairy? A corpse as beautiful as a goddess. Sounds just like our story. Yes. Yes.
That went okay. Now I'm sure that Morgan's hiding something. I may be able to get what I want if we go deeper into the documents. Halfway finished, I think he was playing both sides by himself. If it was merely for entertainment, it wouldn't be a problem. But I know that every action he takes has its own special, especially now that his remaining time is limited. He didn't so much as twitch when he saw the picture of the body. He's even tougher than the rumors made him out to be. But I was prepared for that. And if my hunch is right, he's deeply intertwined with this case. Far deeper than what my superiors think. The person who originally admitted this report was his superior, current chief of the Boston branch. According to Chief Abrahams, Morgan's got his own modus operandi. It's not something that others should interfere with. Well, Chief, look what that's gotten us into now. Who is it? This my fairy character you keep speaking to.
You can't see her? Such bad manner. You barge into our apartment, yet you don't even care about who else is living here.
Dissociative identity disorder.
C'est exactement ça.
In the past, it was known as multiple personality disorder. You were subjected to an internal probe only once during your career, correct? They suspected that you had DID, but you denied it, and no problems arose during your test. Is this how you dealt with the psychological profiler back then, too? Saying strange things, weaving unrelated matters together. Is that how you slipped through?
You're free to draw your own conclusions, Belle. But my fairy clearly exists. She's been sitting right there on your lap this entire... Hey, stop it. No violence allowed in here, Belle. Wouldn't want to scare my fairy, now would we?
N'importe quoi, putain. Il en tient une couche. Hein.
You may be wondering why we decided to unearth all these old files.
Everything happens for a reason.
The moment Lise Clarkson's body was found, we did the best we could to start our own local investigation. But there wasn't much we could actually investigate due to the damage caused by the hurricane.
Then we assume you also questioned everyone who worked in the warehouse.
Of course. We questioned all the Clarkson Food Delivery Services employees who staffed the warehouse and its owner. But we still have yet to obtain any key testimonies.
Par for the course with a 14-year-old case, if you ask me.
Not to mention how bad the timing was.
So, you gave up on the investigation and came to see us instead. That warehouse, that man, so incoherent.
Hey, are you talking about the guy who managed the vault where Lisa's body was found? Yeah, I think he started working there in 2005. Remember, Aaliyah? You said he was a pain to deal with, too.
The large man, yes? No need to answer. I'm sure you've already put him under surveillance. Textbook FBI protocol. Isn't there someone else you should have talked to before coming to us?
We were unable to reach Patricia Clarkson. You look surprised. I thought you already knew. After all, you visited Louisiana last week. We assumed you met with her during your time there.
We haven't been to Louisiana. Not in 14 years.
Is that so?
We've been right here in our apartment this entire... That man is our witness. Aren't you, Simon?
He's right. He didn't even take a single step outside on Christmas Eve, which means that I didn't get to either.
Are you positive about that? I took the liberty of checking some airline records. Last Friday, the name Billy Bishop was listed on a morning flight out of Boston. This is the fake name you used to use as an agent, isn't it?
A mere coincidence.
Yet that's not all. That evening on the same day, a man with a large scar on his forehead allegedly purchased an '89 Cadillac from a small used car lot in Le Carré. He reportedly said he wanted something old, big, and strong. The owner of the car lot felt it was a strange order, so it stuck in his mind.
Our world is filled with mysteries, and they always have the most bizarre timing.
Incidentally, on the following day, an identical Cadillac was taken to a scrapyard in Trenton, New Jersey.
You can find that type of car anywhere. Isn't that right, my fairy?
Morgan's right. Everything happens for a reason. Even this messy room. There must be a reason for it. Especially when it comes to those strangely tidy spots. They're practically begging me to question them.
Ah. Voilà. Enfin s'intéresser au triangle. Poche de perfusion vide. Île de DVD.
DVDs are all over the place. I know that he's a shut-in, but this still seems like way too many for one person. And I've never heard of any of these titles before. Poly-MVA supplements. And a home IV kit. It's probably filled with highly concentrated vitamin C. He said that being on the verge of death is intriguing. But then, how does he truly feel? This room's a total mess. But certain spots look perfectly clean. Is it just a coincidence? No. There are no coincidences with this man.
Bon, on commence par les DVD.
DVDs,
Ah,
I know that he's...
Pas de bouton.
A stinking indulgence. And a massive DVD collection. You must live a very comfortable life.
We're retired, remember?
Retired in your 40s. I'm envious.
But who doesn't love movies, Belle?
I'm not a fan.
Oh, that won't do. You should dedicate all the free time you have to watching movies. It's practical. Films...
En faire une loi.
Guys.
Devrions même en faire une loi. Regarder des films tout le temps.
Films are filled with every important life lesson there is.
Ouais, ça formate aussi la
Is
vision des
that
choses.
so?
Les gens qui sont pas
For
capables
example,
d'avoir propre vision des choses.
They live.
Ah, Invasion Los Angeles. Ah, première référence.
1988, directed by John Carpenter.
John Carpenter.
That film taught us a valuable lesson. Always put on your sunglasses before a fight.
You know, you've got a point. Movies teach us about everything we need to know. I learned about the right way to eat frozen pizza from Cobra. It's one of Stallone's best films. Before that, I wouldn't be caught dead trying to eat frozen pizza. I thought it wasn't fit for human consumption. But that film changed my life.
Simon, that has nothing to do with the film. You're just talking about pizza.
Mais grave.
Do you like fresh vegetable juice?
Why would you think that?
There's a juicer in your sink that hasn't been washed yet. And do I smell the faint fragrance of baked beans? You didn't use much salt, did you?
What are you implying?
You just told me that you find impending death to be intriguing. That confused me. When I look around your room, all I can see are the many ways in which you're resisting death. Poly-MVA treatment, highly concentrated vitamin C IVs, fresh vegetable juice, vegetable protein without salt, gallons of vitamin D milk for fat and calcium.
The ambivalence, yeah?
What?
Two contradictory emotions. An adult, mature mind is never satisfied with only one response. It's common sense. Isn't that?
Bon, allez. Qu'est-ce que c'est que ça, alors?
Mr. Morgan, I found several spots in this room that look strangely clean. Did you tidy up a bit because you knew we were coming?
They've existed from the start.
Sanctuaries.
That's right. Sacred hovels for pure souls, if you will.
Were there originally objects in those hovels? Something you didn't want us to see?
The soul's still there. We haven't touched a thing. But we know you can't see anything. Hey, Simon. Don't touch the sanctuary.
Sorry.
That's a don't ever touch it again. You've been watching us for 4.5 years, and you couldn't even figure that much out.
My bad. It's my first time actually coming inside, you know.
You're earning far more than you deserve then. What were you doing all day in that black Suburban? We thought wiretapping was your specialty. Don't tell me. Crossword puzzles. What do you think, my fairy? 4.5 years. All that time, and what does he have to show for it?
Eh bien. Il
Crossword
débloque ses
puzzles?
verres.
No way. Come on, I thought you knew. I'm a Sudoku guy.
Agent Jones,
Oh, right.
he's completely taken control of the conversation. At this rate, we'll never get anywhere. I need to press him some more. Agent Jones. The briefcase isn't even that big. How long does he intend to keep that up? Does he have pizza menus stuffed inside there or something? Agent Jones, did you find the files?
Ah bah quand même. Ah, elle a fait rien de mollet.
Mr. Morgan, do you recognize these files?
Whoa! Ow!
We told you. That's a sanctuary.
Let him go! Assaulting an FBI agent is an obstruction of
told you.
justice.
We told you. Go. Ah! Stay back. Stay back. Sanctuary. Down. Savannah. Ah!
Ah, du rouge. Bah merde.
Ah! Yeah.
Mr. Morgan?
C'est quoi ce grognement, quoi?
I cut my finger with that can opener this morning. I thought I stopped the bleeding, but it seeped through. How could I be so stupid? Everything should be fine now. I'm sorry for being so careless. I made sure to read through your file and learn about your condition. The color red. Such an unusual thing to fear. Please, accept my deepest apologies.
I don't know what I was thinking. I'll never touch one of your sanctuaries ever again. And
Don't ever touch one.
Now, may we return to our discussion?
Don't worry. I won't let them touch you again. I'll keep them away from us.
Strangely enough, this man has a fear of the color red. And I believe that fear is connected to the Greenville case. Soon after Agent Jones started monitoring him, he was ordered to go through Morgan's trash, but he didn't find anything. Morgan used this machine to cut up everything, from his mail to his supermarket receipt. Then he even went as far as taking out his trash in parts.
Morceau de panne.
Here's another
Ouais,
empty
voilà, il y en a
space.
encore là.
What does the word sanctuary really mean to him? Hovels for pure souls. The files on the serial killings that shocked Washington State and officially titled the Greenville case. I never thought I'd take out files from a case I first heard about on the news.
Et ouais, l'affaire du 1.
This is a very large shredder. Is there something you don't want people finding out about?
Good, but we never know when some curious civil servants may come and sift through our trash now, do we?
You're already retired. What are you so worried about?
It's just a simple habit. From back when we were still on duty. Didn't they bang that into your head when you were up in Quantico? Some habits are hard to break, no matter how hard you try.
Could you tell me what exactly the word sanctuary?
Sanctuaries are nothing more and nothing less.
That doesn't explain anything.
Tu m'étonnes.
Why do you wish to know?
Just curious.
Belle. Don't you agree,
Merde.
my fairy? What do our sanctuaries have to do with the investigation? If you're out of questions, then how about just going home?
hey, mind if I jump in here?
What is it, Simon? We hope you've got a real question for us.
Well, actually, I'm also a little curious myself. No one's supposed to touch any sanctuary, right?
That's what we said.
What about you, though? You can't even touch them yourself? Are there any extenuating circumstances?
What are you getting at?
I mean, I doubt if any of this really matters, but if no one can touch the sanctuaries, then how do you clean them?
That is a question. Il n'y aura pas de réponse.
Mr. Morgan? I'd like to ask you some questions about this case now.
We don't want to remember that town.
I'm sorry, but there's no way around this. I remember hearing about this case on the news when I was still a student. A high school girl named Anna Graham was murdered and the FBI stepped in to take over the case. I also remember it becoming a sprawled investigation due to evidence found in the victim's throat. Is that correct? After that case, you went on sick leave for 2 years. And when you returned, you requested to be switched over to desk work. What happened?
That's a private matter. None of your business, Bill.
Were you traumatized? It's a common problem with prolific agents such as yourself. But there's another possibility that may make more sense. Perhaps you simply finished making preparations.
What are you getting at?
Thinking too much about something will always turn it into a problem. The Greenvale case. Don't you think it resembles the Luke Carre case?
Read the report. We have nothing else to say.
I just need one more push. One more thing that can summon up the past. Looks like another old antique. He collects milk cartons but treats valuable antiques like trash. What's going on in his head?
Alors, ça.
A jar of honey with honeycomb inside it. There's nothing strange about it, but it still gives me a weird feeling. A picture of a leaf. This isn't just a picture of any leaf. The belief in truth begins with the doubt of all truths in which one has previously believed. It's time to get down to business. The silver clock in that trash pile.
That's right. John Harrison's 5th chronometer. After many years, he completed it and presented it to the Board of Longitude. In order to... It's only a replica, of course.
You like clocks?
Clocks are amazing. Prime fruit of the human race's intellect. We took the invisible idea of time and...
Yeah, I love clocks too. Absolutely fascinating.
I disagree.
Oh? Why?
Time is valuable precisely because it can't be seen. Yet nowadays people can't tell what time it is unless it's measured in numbers. Talk about idiocy. I don't mean to side with the Board of Longitude, but remember, humans used to cross oceans with the stars alone. We have our eyes to read moon charts and study the sky. We don't need clocks.
What if it's cloudy or storming?
All you need is courage and a love for adventure.
Hear that, my fairy? Courage and a love for adventure? Come on, Belle. Surely you know how many lives have been claimed by your pals' courage and adventure.
Hey,
Touché.
hold on a second here. That Board of Longitude thing. I mean, I've heard of it before. I'm an FBI analyst, remember? I just sort of can't remember. I'm telling the truth. Come on, Aaliyah, back me up here.
That's royal jelly.
Huh?
You were staring at the jar. Do you find it strange that there's honeycomb inside? We wanted to harvest royal jelly in its most natural. The queen's main food source, created from the worker bee's secretions. It's a perfect food, filled with power, meant to fuel the birth of the next queen. By absorbing it into our own bodies, we too can acquire that power. Incidentally, did you know that all the worker bees are female?
No.
Guess they didn't teach you that at Quantico. Male bees are only born to inseminate. And they're born from unfertilized eggs to boot. They have short lives and don't even get stingers. Sort of feels like a glimpse into the future of our society. Would you agree? Women are gifted with the power to conceive, give birth, and nourish their children. But men are consumed with the job of providing women with the chance to do so. If women no longer had to rely on men for the seeds of life, they would soon cease to desire them, we believe. Be careful, Simon.
Huh? Of what?
Il comprend rien. lui.
Your Belle's already stolen the reins from you.
Mr. Morgan, please look at this.
What did we just say? We don't want to remember Green.
This isn't a photo from Greenvale. Look closely at it. Former Special Agent Francis Zach Morgan. This photograph predates Greenvale. It's from the Lucare case you worked on in 2005.
Red tree.
Yes, a red tree. Greenvale wasn't the first place you saw one of these. The Greenvale case and the Lise Clarkson murder case. They're connected by these red trees, aren't they?
Avec les fameuses graines.
Red trees. Both places. Growing. Roots. Seeds.
Les racines, les
Answer me.
les graines.
What are these trees?
Red trees.
Les arbres rouges.
I want the truth.
Les arbres, ils
Tell
ont pas
me
traduit.
everything you know.
The red trees. You really did your homework. Well done, Belle. You're good. Damn good.
Are you ready to talk now? I want to know what went down in Le Carré in 2005.
Fine.
Allez,
We'll tell
parti.
you. We'll tell you what happened in that town.
Découvrons
Yes.
cette première enquête.
It was that red tree. That red tree ruined my life. It was a sultry summer day. The sun comes down hard on you in the south, like a torrential downpour of demonic whisper. It all started back in that sweltering summer. We still had our best friend with us back then. The other me. My better half.
Sa meilleure moitié. Ils ont marqué moitié, mais c'est ça, ma meilleure moitié. Bande son. Bah, c'est la bande son du trailer quand même, j'ai entendu.
Never a choice. When somebody needs you, you can't turn away.
Plus les mêmes artistes. La
You're
bande son,
their only lifeline.
en tout cas
Just
sur ce
a
morceau-là, je trouve qu'ils
hero.
ont su redonner la même patte. On retrouve bien l'ambiance, la guitare, les choses.
Always is a voice, a cry in the darkness, an echo of pain that's been long forgotten, but it haunts me, my destiny to be alone. There's a time when you see life for what it's gotta be. You should know they'll destroy you. They'll call to me to keep searching, walk alone.
Kenji Goda. Pourquoi ça? C'est quoi ce Le jeu, il a l'image du trailer, ça va aller.
Zach.
Ouais, c'est l'agent York.
Zach. Can you hear me, Zach?
Oui, t'entends York.
There you are, Zach. Sleeping again? Well, rise and shine. It's time for us to head back out into the chaos.
Here we go.
Isn't that right?
Vas-y, je suis prêt.
Zach, it looks like she wants us to join her for breakfast. Perhaps this town's finally starting to warm up to us.
Basque.
Look at that, Zach. She's welcoming us with open arms.
Eh ben.
She's even willing to share that tasty morsel with us. What an honor.
Hurry up and chow down, mister. Unless you like your breakfast stale.
What an amazing place. I've been on top of the moon since the moment I got here. And the name of this wonderful town, Lacari.
Lacari.
Sounds like French to me. But what does it mean?
I'm the chef, David. If you want to know about the town, you'd better ask the concierge. Only amateur chefs flap their gums about stuff that ain't food related.
Did you hear that, Zach? He's a true professional.
You say something, mister?
No, not to you. I was just talking to Zach.
Zach?
Please don't ask me about Zach. It's a private matter.
If you say so, still. Never thought the FBI would ever come out to a little old town like ours.
I do work for the FBI, but I didn't come here for an investigation. I just happened to stop by on my way to New Orleans.
Never thought there'd be a murder out here either. And it was a 16-year-old kid. Now, I tell you, this country's seen better days. What you reckon, mister?
Zach, he's definitely a professional, but it seems like he's also a bit lonesome. That's good. Ambivalence exists everywhere.
Folks say the killer used an axe. Hell of an old-fashioned choice, if you ask me.
Actually, Chef David, if you don't mind, I'd like to ask you a few questions about the incident.
But shoot, I ain't the one you ought to be asking, Mr. FBI. I only heard what I heard. But seeing as you're fixing to grill me, I can tell you what I know.
Please do. I appreciate it. You said the victim was a 16-year-old. Did you know her?
Well, sure. I reckon the whole town did.
Meaning?
She's Lise Clarkson, the little grandbaby of the Clarkson family.
The Clarkson family?
That's right. You ain't seen they sign on your way in here? The one above that huge cold storage complex. Should have had a dragonfly on it. Anyway, that's the Clarkson family seal. They own most of the land around here, from the sugar plantations right down to the food processing plant. Yeah, I reckon they got a stake in just about everything. They even own the water tower on the edge of town, you know? They're the ones who built up this town, and they still support it.
What do you know about the Clarksons' house?
Now, I ain't got nothing bad to say, but I'm gonna talk straight to you. You best steer clear of that place. That family ain't just some gang. They're a whole different kind of beast. They folks with real power. Remnants of the good old boys who shaped America in the early days. Especially the head of the family, P.J. Clarkson. He's the kind of monster who goes around eating other monsters. And I'm sure he's on edge now with his granddaughter getting murdered and all. So don't go barging in with that shiny FBI badge of yours and think you'll be safe for nothing. Things are different down here. So if you plan on sticking around, you best remember that.
I see. I'll keep that in mind. Is the local law enforcement investigating the case?
Shoot, mister, what you think? Now, I told you this ain't no city. We in the bonafide boondocks here. They got to know how to break up fights and keep folks from killing each other when they pissed you off. They sit down and talk it out with you heart to heart, and when that don't work, that's the deep south for you. This murder ain't like that, though. A little kid got killed. A weird way. Like something on a TV show. The sheriff's department ain't never seen nothing like this.
Live and Let Die, Angel Heart, and The Pelican Brief, right? 9 out of 10 people will name those titles when you ask them to think of a film set in New Orleans. They're all excellent movies, but to me they lack realism. Due to my line of work, I have a tendency to think deeply about what feels real and what doesn't.
What's your point?
Cat People. That's my point. Cat People, 1982, directed by Paul Schrader. The crowning achievement of Nastasia Kinski, the ultimate muse of the 80s. The most vital element of that movie is the reality it depicts. Leopards who turn into humans have intercourse with humans and turn back into leopards. Then they can only turn back into humans again if they mutilate their lovers. I was awestruck by the sheer reality of it all, understand? I'm talking about hyper-realism. After watching it, I felt like I just had to experience the world of cat people for myself. That's why I decided to visit New Orleans.
Ok.
Okay.
C'est trop ça, quoi. Tu es parti dans son monologue
Another vital element of cat
à
people
parler de son film.
is the presence of Malcolm McDowell. Malcolm McDowell from Blue Thunder. Oh, talk about a masterpiece. Listen carefully, David. Only an amateur would call A Clockwork Orange his best movie.
Hmm.
His best movies are Cat People and Blue Thunder. Period. You need to remember this, because it's the truth.
Whatever you say, mister. So, what's your point again?
Never mind, don't worry about it. I already covered all the important parts. When you say it was like something from a TV show, what exactly do you mean?
Hey, mister. Why do you look so excited, huh? Like a kid asking grandma to read him a fairy tale.
I just can't seem to keep myself away from young women who died in bizarre ways.
Well, I ain't seen it with my own eyes, but folks say they found the body hanging under a bridge on the bayou. And under that bridge, there was some kind of altar,
An altar?
like something they use in black magic.
Voodoo?
Nah, wasn't nothing like that. Just a weird altar.
That's all?
Oh, and the body was all cut up in pieces.
So she was sacrificed.
That's what the fella who discovered her said, yeah.
Bingo, Zach. This case has got our names all over it.
By the way, Mr. FBI, I ain't seen a car in the parking lot. How'd you get all the way out here, huh? Don't tell me you walked.
Well, that's a very good question. Chef David, you've got a sharp eye. It's true that I didn't park my car in your parking lot. Do you know why?
Can't say I do.
Because it was stolen.
Huh? But you with the FBI, right?
Even FBI cars can be stolen. It could happen after you park your car on the side of the road and go off to do some legwork. When you're eating lunch, when you're watching a movie, when you're asleep at night, when you're buying cigarettes at the local supermarket. Your car can be stolen anywhere. That's precisely what it means to be an FBI agent.
Mais
In my
n'importe quoi,
case, my
putain,
car
ce
was
dialogue.
stolen while I was on my way down here. But no need to worry. I already reported it to the local authorities. And I've also already acquired another mode of transportation.
Another mode?
Want to hear the details?
Not really. But I'll listen if you want me to.
Then please do. After I finished my work in Houston, I flew to New Orleans. Then, I rented a car at the airport. Whenever I visit the West Coast, I always rent a convertible. Especially in California. But now I'm in hot and sticky Louisiana. So, I decided on a brand new hybrid car with a...
A hybrid car?
Oh yes, they're marvelous. Vehicles that utterly defy everything you think you know about cars. Now, in the year 2005, it feels like we've finally entered the 21st century. Stomp down on the gas all you want. The engine won't make a sound.
It's silent?
At first, I felt like the landscape was moving past me on its own. Give it a few more years,
C'était le
I'm
paysage qui
sure
bougeait,
we'll
mais pas
start
moi.
seeing cars that run purely on electricity. Who knows? In a decade or so, electric sports cars may end up lining the parking lots of Silicon Valley. I can see it now. It's the world of The Last Starfighter, 1984, directed by Nick Castle. It's famous for being the first film to utilize realistic CG, but I couldn't care less about that. See, I was mesmerized by the beautifully refined mech designs. It even made me wish that I could be one of them myself. Especially the Gunstar spacecraft. No other sci-fi movie has ever had...
So, yeah, where'd your hybrid car get stolen?
Sorry, I got off topic.
I noticed it was missing after I'd finished my lunch and walked out of the diner. Incidentally, this diner was located at the entrance to a small town just south off the I-10. I went out to get back in it, but my hybrid car was nowhere to be found. I remembered exactly where I parked it, right between a blue pickup truck and a hedgerow. But when I came back from lunch, it had completely vanished. In short, someone stole it, and in its place, they left me this.
What?
A skateboard.
A skateboard?
Yes. While I was sliding my lunch into my stomach, someone was busy replacing my brand new hybrid car with a wooden board attached to 4 wheels. Remarkable, don't you think?
So then how did you get here?
By riding the skateboard, obviously. No, I couldn't ride the board very well at first. But by the time I hit the 3-mile mark, I'd more or less gotten the hang of it. By the 10-mile mark, I'd even learned to do a few tricks. It was a journey of self-discovery. Not even I knew I had this latent talent sleeping in.
This summer's gonna be another hot one. It's supposed to get over 95 today. Watch out you don't go getting heat stroke.
Tu m'étonnes.
Felice Clarkson case needs us. Don't you think so, Zach? The cat people are what guided us to New Orleans. We should be thanking Malcolm McDowell. Once we get home, let's watch Blue Thunder again. I'm already looking forward to it. Zach, the searing light. These scents. It's the deep south. That was a fabulous breakfast. You're the world's greatest chef.
Wait, mister. You didn't take a single bite.
Well, the tea was to die for. But I'd prefer coffee next time. What would a morning be without coffee?
Normal. Il veut son café. Bon, est-ce que je vais pouvoir un peu me déplacer? Bon, après, c'est normal, hein, faut poser l'univers, mettre le contexte, etc. quoi. Ben voilà. Retournez dans votre chambre d'hôtel et faites je peux le dormir, nouvelle qui t'a été ajoutée. Simplement, ok. Et faites le point sur l'information en fait. Dire lui. Ah bah le café hein. Alors, café corté avec du lait. Je crois que ce qu'il préfère c'est avec du lait. Hein. Corset restaure largement la concentration. Ok. Pourquoi il y a un en haut? New? Ouais, bah je sais bien qu'il y a New. C'est la nouvelle. Ouais, ça peut pas dire qu'il y a une quête active. Ah, mais ok, c'est un miroir. En regardant de là-haut, je me disais, putain, mais c'est moche là-bas au fond. C'est tout pas pixelisé, aliasé en fait. Et pixelisé aussi au passage. En fait, c'est parce que c'est un miroir en fait. Ils sont tarés de mettre un miroir. Et bouffer de la ressource, pas grand chose. Bon. Et se préparer pour aller visiter la ville. Ouais, c'est mieux que le pyjama quand même.
Sang Rouge. Been chasing it all over America. But I feel like we're finally on the verge of finding something now. Don't you, Zach? I think it's about time we ordered a new briefcase. Yes, I know this one carries a lot of memories, but this hole's from the shootout in Tucson. And this stains from Miami. Miami. Now that was a fascinating case. Billy, our perp, cut his own torso right in two, even with the help of the drugs. A feat like that still requires incredible mental fortitude. I was so impressed that I forgot I'd left my briefcase on the floor. Same floor his blood gushed out onto.
Ah bah bien.
I know, Zach, I know. Now isn't the time for a trip down memory lane.
Nouveau ça.
An emergent drug
Ah
that's
oui,
been
non,
on the
ok,
rise
d'accord,
in
parce
4
que
southern
espèce de
states.
profilage.
Personally, I think it originated right here in Louisiana. And Lise Clarkson's murder must be connected to it somehow. The 16-year-old girl who was murdered. Her body was found beneath a bridge over the bayou.
Oh. J'ai mis un coup dans le micro, désolé.
Along with a strange altar. The powerful man who essentially controls the town of Lucare. And he seems to be more fearsome than your average gangster. I doubt he'll be willing to cooperate with any law enforcement, Zach. You know, I keep thinking about that movie we stopped to see on our way here, Zach. The Island, 2005, directed by Michael Bay. For a movie being shown at a cinema complex, it was surprisingly artistic. An experimental setting mixed with hard-hitting drama. It was art house sci-fi. That director's going to change the history of art house films. Are you following me here? This is another
Michael
special
Bay,
film that's setting a new standard, just like Star Wars and Blade Runner did. This
Carrément.
is a turning point, Zach. You may be witnessing the birth of a vital new word that will soon become
Ouais,
a
bah
part
après on a
of
eu les
film.
Transformers.
Yes, this
et
single
puis
movie
voilà.
may be responsible for
Qu'est-ce
creating
qu'il
a
a fait
whole
d'autre? Ah
new
oui, les
genre
Tortues
several
Ninja
years
aussi.
down the line. A genre known as island movies. I sure like the sound of that. Don't you, Zach?
N'importe quoi, putain. On se regarde. Oui, c'est sa chambre d'hôtel, ça. Il y a ça en plein milieu, vous êtes sérieux? Ah oui, c'est pour se raser, d'accord. Donc ils l'ont activé dans celui-là, parce que je disais dans la vidéo sur le premier qui voulait faire en sorte que la barbe qui pousse et tout.
But Zach, do you know what I hate most about living out of a hotel? Shower pressure. The shower was invented so that human beings could quickly bathe in large quantities of water, correct? Yet there are far too many hotels in our nation that have showers with embarrassingly weak water. It's an outrage. And I'll keep tooting my horn about this every chance I get, believe you me.
Du coup, il va aller se doucher. Dans le 1, en fait, ouais, si on se douchait pas, après, il y avait des mouches qui tournaient autour de notre personnage. Et moins on se lavait, et plus il y avait de mouches. Ah merde, pourquoi je fais se raser? Non, ça, du coup, c'est pour changer
I'm very
de
satisfied with
tenue.
the decorations and the size of this closet, Zach. And it's even got a security box. What else? It's proof that we're still safely inside the fringes of modern civilization.
Ah oui. Ah oui, on peut envoyer les vêtements au lavage. Tu mets les gants, c'est juste la couleur qui change. Ah oui, il y a les gants, mais parfait pour sortir. C'est plus de gens. La mallette. Ouais, ok. Ah oui, c'est comme le coffre dans Resident Evil. C'est le même principe. Bon alors, on va voir qui toque à la porte.
Hey there, chef. What's cooking?
Chef, what are you talking about, sir? I'm the concierge, David. I just heard from our chef that you wish to learn the meaning behind our town's name.
Yes, I've gathered that Le Carré is French, but does it have any special meaning?
Why, yes, sir, of course it does. A very clear, logical meaning. All names have meanings. Would you like to know what this one means?
Yes, I would.
Jolly good, sir. Then allow me to explain. Lucare means square in French.
Ah. And
That's it.
that's it?
Yes, that's it, sir. Do take a gander at the town map in the lobby if it fancies you. It's beautiful, valuable, and old. I'm sure you'll understand once you see it. Now, please excuse me, sir. If you ever need anything, please don't hesitate to ask.
C'est quoi ce sourire?
Did you see that, Zach? That was clearly David. Not a twin, not a split personality, just the work of a true professional. It's bizarre, but I can understand it. Remember what they say, the job makes the man.
Il est sympa le tableau. Le mec qui joue du saxo.
Do you feel that, Zach? dozens of paintings no one will ever see. Faint scent of tobacco baked into these walls for over a century. Now that's what I call a hotel. Zach, can you see him? His fashion sense is beyond me, but he appears to be a gentleman. Perhaps we should talk to him. Nice tie. Did you buy it here?
It's been a long time since someone spoke to me. No one these days ever tries to see me.
C'est quoi ce délire? Un tableau qui parle?
They can see what's far in the distance, but are blind to what's in front of them. No. Maybe they're only pretending not to see. That's what civilized society does to people.
D'accord avec toi, York.
Exactly. Ever since mankind got their hands on civilization, they zoomed away at a frightening speed.
Zoomed away from what?
Don't be a fool. You know the answer. As for me, just call me Hoongan.
Hoongan. The title given to a leader in a certain religion. Is that what you are?
Do you comprehend the oracle?
The Oracle. Put on your religion hat, Zach. Here we go.
Fell 10 maidens in the shrine of hunger. Find the flying serpent in the ambiguous zero. Dance with the flying serpent, and you will glimpse the other world.
10 maidens and an ambiguous zero. Got it. But what do you mean by otherworld?
Follow the oracle.
Pardon. T'es comment de canne tombé?
Zach, did you hear all that? Looks like we've already taken our first step into chaos. But such is our duty. We need to accept the chaos, let it inside, then carefully dismantle it piece by piece. And after we've put all the pieces back into their rightful places, the truth will reveal itself. Let's capture the truth and present it with a shiny pair of silver bracelets, Zach.
Bon. Qu'est-ce qu'il y a de beau dans ce hall? Voilà, téléphone pour sauvegarder. Là-bas, c'est les machines. Twitter. Il n'y a pas grand chose à manger sur... Ah ouais. Modéré. Comme ça. Mais, toujours aidé. Le tableau. Du coup, il est là le concierge. Non, c'est pas lui. C'est pas le concierge. On ne veut pas.
Whether it's a restaurant or a hotel, the key to charming your customers is how you present your bathroom. I'm sure you feel the same way, don't you, Zach? Now this is the kind of bathroom a person can really get excited about. It might even trump the one we saw in that drug dealer's house in Austin. Remember? The art piece on display in there utilized the natural curves of human ribs in such a novel way.
Il fait de ses remarques des fois. Ouais, cache thoracique.
Zach, this is Lucare. I think I'm finally starting to understand what our concierge was trying to say. You can tell this town was built by a very methodical person. No, wait. Maybe they just didn't care, and that's why it ended up this way. It's just another symbol of mankind's obsession with molding nature to fit our own rules. Zach, what did you think of Hungun's oracle? Despite all the dramatic build-up, it's little more than a childish riddle. Heartwarming, really. Exactly the kind of feeling one gets from the good old-fashioned countryside. Now let's start by tracking down those 10 maidens. The oracle gave us a place and an act. We need to go to the Shrine of Hunger and fell 10 maidens. Now where in this town can one satiate their hunger? The hotel and where? And the 10 things that need to be knocked down. Simple, right? The answer is bowling. The shape of the bowling pin was based on the feminine form. The 10 maidens are the 10 pins. But a place where someone can both eat and bowl at the same time. I'm skeptical as to whether we'll be able to find such a place in a backwoods town like this.
Ça a l'air d'être ça, on dirait qu'il y a une quille dessus. C'est juste une rue.
Alexis's Diner and Lane. This is it, Zach. There are even pins and a bowling ball on the sign. I bet we'll be able to eat some Cajun cuisine and bowl there. Maybe even both at the same time. Nice job, Zach. I knew you'd be able to find it. Now for the other oracle. There's no flying serpent on this map. Could it be a contrail or perhaps a dragon? I'm sure we'll find out later. First, let's just figure out where we need to go. Do you know what the ambiguous 0 represents? 0 is usually treated as a base number, but under what conditions would a base number be ambiguous? The answer is temperature, Zach. Yes. 0 degrees Fahrenheit is minus 17.7 degrees Celsius, and 0 degrees Celsius is 32 degrees Fahrenheit. You'd be hard-pressed to find a more ambiguous 0 than that. The question: the Clarkson Food Delivery Services cold storage warehouse. That's got to be it. Even with this blazing sun in the sky, they can easily keep the temperature below freezing. Be honest now, Zach. You knew the answer from the very start. And how about that Hungan? What a mysterious character. His oracles may end up determining how much time we spend in this town.
Sorry, boss, but this is a smoke-free hotel. If you're dying to smoke, head out the entrance and you'll find a smoking area in the rear parking lot.
Don't tell me. You're the
At
bellboy.
your service, boss.
C'était bien lui, mais dans une autre tenue.
Are you good friends with the concierge and the chef?
We work at the same place, yeah. But, I can't really say whether we're good friends with each other. We're all professionals, though. Nothing more, nothing less.
I believe we've struck gold here, Zach. It just screams Deep South, actually. No, it doesn't. This is all his charm. So, if I want to smoke, I should go out the entrance and around to the rear parking lot?
Bada bing, bada boom.
Okay. I'll play by your rules. You can tell this town was built by a No. Wait, maybe they just didn't care, and that's why it ended up this way. Either way, this town clearly forced nature, a perfect symbol of the human... Yes, I can feel the horrible weight of all the sins that...
Hey, boss! How can I be a...
On va être content du coup s'il trouve un hôtel enfin où la pression de l'eau est suffisante.
Zach, here's another perfect symbol of the human condition. Hunting. And it's a buffalo hunting trophy. Now that's a surprise. I've seen several trophies made out of human skin, but never a buffalo's. Looking at him brings out this strange feeling from within me. Yes, the very same feeling I got when watching a certain film from 1984, directed by Peter Hyams, 2010. The last scene in that film filled me with such a sublime, majestic feeling. It was filled with everything that was missing from the finale of 2001: A Space Odyssey. Just talking about it makes me want to watch it again. Let's watch it once we get home.
We always strive to provide our guest with the finest of
En mode
service.
réceptionniste du coup.
Our humble, bucolic town does have its inconveniences. Shopping in particular can be a bit of a slog. Therefore, we decided to provide a modest selection of daily necessities right here.
Great. Sounds convenient.
Exactly.
Ils te vendent du chewing-gum qui réduit légèrement les mauvaises odeurs. S'il vous plaît. Ah, ça c'est pour atténuer légèrement la saleté quoi. Non mais s'il te plaît. Des crampes et de la paralysie. Là, je sais pas qu'est-ce qu'on va se bouffer dans le jeu pour avoir des trucs pareils là. Enfin, bref. Ah, ça,
Please don't hesitate to let me know if you're in need of anything, sir.
Would you mind if I asked you just one question, concierge?
By all means, please.
Do you run this entire hotel all on your own? I mean, just the three of you?
Yes, that is correct, sir.
So you, or the three of you, own the entire place?
Oh, heavens no, sir. The chef, the bellboy, and myself are all mere employees of this fine hotel.
So the Clarksons own this place, too?
Not quite, sir. This hotel opened its doors long before the Clarksons came.
Impressive. No wonder this building has such a dignified air to it.
Indeed. This is probably the only building in all of Lucare that has managed to retain its original appearance.
So who's the owner? I simply must know the name of the person who had the fortune and sense to come into possession of such a fine building.
The owner of this hotel is none other than David Jawara, sir.
Zach, that's the fourth David. It all makes sense now. It'd be stranger if only the owner was a completely different person. I sincerely hope I get a chance to meet him during my stay here.
If I may, Mr. Morgan, sir, I don't think that's such...
Why not?
Unfortunately, our owner has a bit of a personality problem. The three of us here describe him as having a fractured mind.
Ok. Ouais, c'est toi-même quoi. Bon allez, on va J'aurai la ville.
Compared to non-smokers, smokers have a 4.7 times greater chance of getting lung disease. You know that means it's more likely than getting asbestos poisoning?
The risk of death from lung cancer is actually much lower than what you think it is. In fact, it's tiny when compared to heart disease, strokes, and pneumonia. We're always surrounded by easy ways to die, you know. Some people even get randomly struck by lightning and die right there on the spot.
Then I reckon you also know that secondhand smokers have 1.3 times greater the risk compared to smokers?
Of course.
So you won't mind paying the damages when I die of lung disease? How about writing that in a contract for me? You got a pen, right?
Elle va pas lâcher l'affaire.
I promise to protect you from all the evil in our world. Well, that's stupid. By the way, what's your name?
FBI Special Agent Francis York Morgan.
Patricia Woods comme Reine
Please just
Woods.
call me York.
C'est
That's
un
what
clin
everyone
d'œil
calls me.
au nom
Is
d'origine
something wrong with
du
you?
projet.
Adults ain't supposed to act like that. I only asked for your name so I can write it on the contract. You should have been able to figure that out if you're a real FBI agent like you said. Come on, sign here. Right here on the paper.
Just as I thought, Zach. This contract paper, it's a Sang Rouge wrapper. Sang Rouge is here, too. This must mean that Sang Rouge is connected to the Lise Clarkson murder case somehow. This is a sprawling case that spread across the entire South. It's within our jurisdiction, Zach. We'll need to steal the right to investigate from the local authorities at once. By the way, miss, what's your name?
Patricia Woods. But I gotta write my name myself, or else it won't be a real signature.
Il est sympa le design de la gamine.
Tell me, Patricia, does this town have a sheriff? Or is it under the jurisdiction of the nearest city police?
Perfect timing. Well, go on and steal it if you want it. I was just thinking about how this is way out of my daddy's league.
Thank you for the information, Patricia. Okay, Zach, it's time to get to work. How should we seize control from the sheriff this time?
Paola.
My dad. I thought you were gonna steal the right to investigate from him.
Mais c'est quoi ce van? Van de shérif, s'il te plaît, quoi. Le croc. Le crawfish. Ouais. N'importe quoi. Ça ressemble à quoi son père? On voit la gueule du camion.
Hey there. So, you're the fella from the FBI I've been hearing so much about. I'm Melvin. They call me the sheriff round here.
FBI Special Agent Francis York Morgan? But call me York if you can. That's what everyone calls me.
Huh? Well, all right. Mr. York. How's that sound?
Fine by me.
I'm sure you figured this out, but our town's a small one. Yeah, folks are already busy spreading gossip about how some FBI agents come to town. Now, I reckon you came from the city. What was it? D.C., L.A., or New York? Anywho, in the city, it's normal not to know who your neighbor is. Fella who moves in next to you could cook up a dozen folks in his backyard and no one would bat an eye. That's the city for you. Now, I never lived in one myself, but I visited them a few times, so I know what it's like. All pigs must die in the city of wolves. Yeah! Now, does that sound badass or what? I bet you'd...
Ouais, merci.
I know, CLG. I'm just trying to make a little small talk, that's all. Anywho, round these parts, everyone knows each other's name. So lots of folks get leery when they see an étranger like you. And since it's my duty to protect the town, I thought I'd stop by and say hello.
Zach, it looks like this sheriff is quite the happy-go-lucky type. A clear indication of just how peaceful this town is.
La réaction derrière.
Melvin, about the Lee's Clarkson
I
case.
knew you were here for that case. Can't put one past the FBI. So they even got eyes on the smallest of towns like us, huh? Our world is filled with information, and it's all within their grasp. FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
N'importe quoi. Avec la bonne vieille mise en scène qui va bien, quoi.
The Lee's Clarkson case is connected to a top-secret case that we've...
I know. If you're fixing to take the lead, then go right ahead. I'm just the humble sheriff of a tiny little town. My jobs are to stop my neighbors from beating the piss out of each other and listen to old folks complain. Honestly, this whole murder case has been weighing me down. So I'm gonna give you my full cooperation, Mr. Special Agent, sir.
Well, Zach, that was anticlimactic. I didn't even get to use my secret weapon. Melvin, there's a cold storage warehouse on the southern end of town, isn't there? I'd like to get permission to enter it.
Say what?
You want to see where the body's being kept, right?
Oh, I get it now. Lisa's body, yeah. Now, that's what I call a special agent. You already figured that much out. But, I'm not too sure that, going down there at this point is really gonna help much, you know?
Explain it yourself, Daddy.
That's incredible. I don't believe this. Amazing. Did you hear that, Zach? They put the body in a cold storage warehouse. This is fantastic. Insanely fantastic.
Really?
Well, how about that?
Sérieux? Comment tu veux
Well, all
réagir
right
face à
then.
ça, quoi?
I'll head on down to the warehouse ahead of you and make sure we get permission to search it.
Sounds good.
The management company only keeps the warehouse open during certain hours, so you'll have to come during those hours. I ain't looking to create any further disturbances, so be on time. Got it? Come on, let's roll, CLG.
I'm gonna walk home, Daddy. I still got another stop to make.
Oh, if you say so, sweetie. She's a real sharp one, as you can see, so I try to stay out of her way. Well, all right then, York. I'll see you at the warehouse.
Ok. Du coup, elle fait quoi, elle reste là? Elle va me suivre? Bon, du coup, ils nous disent d'aller là-bas, on est obligé d'y aller tout de suite. « 300 mètres, 700 mètres... » Ah, il va sortir son skate.
Hey, you! You ain't secretly cutting kids up and sticking them into jars while you work as an FBI agent on the surface, are you? Or using your FBI connections to sell kids to child trafficking organizations?
I've arrested people who've done both, but I've never engaged in either of those activities myself. Of course, I have imagined doing such things in order to learn more about the psychology of the criminals I deal with.
It was just a joke. Why are you getting all serious? And don't tell me what you imagine, or else I'll get scared of you for real. Hey, can I come with you? You signed a contract with me, remember? And besides, I'm kind of worried about my daddy.
Do whatever you like. This is America, land of the free. But I have one condition.
What condition?
Don't ask me about Zach. It's a private matter.
It's private matter.
Zach, it feels like she's carrying something with her. Kind of reminds me of you back when we first met. I can't leave her alone like this. You feel the same way, don't you?
Le ballon Y Verne. C'est quoi cette façon de courir? Et c'est quoi ce bruit là? Ah, c'est ça le ballon vert.
By the way, Patty, what do you usually do when you're at home?
Is this an interrogation?
Oh, no. I just figured that since we're working together now, it'd be a good idea to learn a little more about you.
Should an adult male like you really be asking a little girl this kind of question? Feel like I heard a story about this sort of thing on the news once.
There's a time and a place for everything. You know exactly who I am, and I've also introduced myself to your father. Besides, you're the one who said you wanted to come with me.
I was just kidding, jeez. You're an FBI special agent. Why would I ever need to worry?
You shouldn't Melvin called you a strange name. CLG, I think. What exactly does that mean?
Clever little girl. That's what it stands for, at least. It's nice that he made up his own nickname for me and all, but it sounds kind of weird. I wish he'd call me something normal, like just Patricia or Patty, you know?
Patty? Now that name's got a ring to it.
Kijk,
I like it.
bullshit
How
de
about Zach and
Fahrenheit.
I call you Patty from here on out?
Do whatever you like.
Taam.
You're heading to the warehouse, right? You gonna go straight there?
Well, I'm not sure yet. I'll have to talk to Zach. We're also on a mission to fell 10 maidens, you see. I'm eager to visit Alexis's diner in Lane, but we've only just arrived in this town, so it might be nice to stroll around a bit.
What? I thought you came here to investigate.
Patty, you're still just a child. Why do you worry so much? We're born to be free, and this is America, land of the free. You should always feel free to do whatever you want. Isn't that right, Zach?
Maybe I...
Patty, is something wrong?
I got something to say. When I first met you in the hotel parking lot, you mentioned Saint Rouge, right? If you want to find it, maybe you should track down Professor R.
Professor R.
Yeah. Professor R owns the jazz bar on the other side of the bayou.
How do you know that?
Because...
Because, huh?
Mais sérieux, quoi. C'est n'importe quoi.
Ten maidens, Zach. Let's topple their hourglass figures and complete this oracle once and for all.
Oh, my Lord. I don't believe I've seen you around here before. Sorry, honey, but you can't smoke in here.
Putain.
Since you're with Patricia, I'm guessing you're some friend of Melvin's.
He's Agent York from the FBI. This is Alexis, the owner of this restaurant. I'm helping out Agent York in his investigation. We signed a contract.
Oh, my Lord. Well, ain't that something?
Ouais, déjà voir là,
I'm
donc c'est
FBI
la même
Special Agent
famille
Francis
que
York
celui
Morgan.
qui tient l'hôtel.
Please, call me
La
York.
ligne.
Everyone's always called me that.
Oh, my Lord. Well, that's got to be the strangest introduction I've ever heard. No wonder everyone in town's been talking about you.
Toi, ça se fout de ma gueule.
I want a chocolate sundae, but no cherries. I want 2 wafers instead. Don't put too many Rice Krispies on it. Oh, but don't scrimp on the chocolate syrup either.
Oh, my Lord. And what'll it be for you, honey?
Alexis, are these photos of the town?
Oh, you like my pictures? My hobby's collecting snapshots of what our town used to be like. So whenever someone gives me an old picture, I just put it up here on display. Our world these days feels a bit cold to me, you know? Just thought it'd be nice to help folks remember what it was like in the good old days.
Zach, did you hear that? The good old days. Even in a remote town that's already far behind the times, there are still people who yearn for the past.
She told me what was going on, you know.
What?
Lise, you don't need to try and hide it from me, honey. Last time she came here, she told me all about it. Some odd fella was following her around, stalking her like.
What kind of fellow?
She said he had a really tall shadow,
How tall?
as tall as an oak tree.
Did that ring any bells for you?
Sadly, it didn't. I know just about everyone in this here town, but I ain't never seen a man who stands that tall. Maybe it really was an oak tree and she just mistook it for someone. Sometimes the silhouettes of them trees with lots of Spanish moss hanging down make me feel a little funny too.
I don't think so, Alexis. Lise said the shadow was following her, correct? That means she must have been stalked by a man as tall as an oak tree. If she had only mistaken an oak tree for a person, she wouldn't have described it that way. She might have said,
It felt like a crowd of people was staring at me.
Yes, exactly. She certainly wouldn't have talked about being followed by someone. Thank you, Patty. Zach, this data is all very intriguing, but it isn't the answer we're looking for. We came to knock down the 10 maidens, remember?
Oh, yeah! Booyah!
Booyah!
I got a turkey!
Truly mesmerizing, Zach. This is why I never tire of small-town investigations. Same goes for you, right?
Agent York, if you're fixing to bowl, you're gonna be disappointed. Mrs. Carpenter never lets anyone else use the lane while she's here.
Patty, that's exactly what I came to do. You see, Zach and I need to bowl down 10 maidens.
Fine, go on and try if you wanna, but I'm gonna eat my sundae. Hey! Are you nuts?
What's the most addictive drug in the world?
How should I know?
It's sugar, Patty. Far more people die from obesity and diabetes than from cocaine and heroin. Alexis, would you give her some milk?
Oh, my Lord. Coming right up, honey.
Sugar might be dangerous, but it ain't against the law. You got no right to take that from me, even if you are some FBI agent.
Actually, Patty, I do.
Ah bon?
We signed a contract.
Ah bah oui, c'est
remember?
vrai.
I promise to
Ah bah
protect you
ouais.
from all the evil in our world.
Ah, énorme.
Delicious. What an amazing chocolate sundae. Zach, I think we just uncovered an incredible treasure here. I feel like I could eat one of these every day while we're in this town.
What?
Just hurry and finish up your investigation already. Can't stand being inside this place without a chocolate sundae.
Don't worry, Patty. I'll knock down those 10 maidens in the blink of an eye. You just wait here and drink your milk.
Meh.
Dis pas autre chose.
You're
Ah,
free
si.
to go home when you like. Zach and I won't mind one bit.
I'm so bored.
You're free to go home when you like.
What'll it be, honey?
Ça va. qui est annexe, non? J'ai jamais goûté la nourriture cajun. Je crois que c'est beaucoup de sucré salé, je crois.
What'll it be, honey?
Is this place a bowling?
Oh, my Lord, what's wrong, honey? It says restaurant right there on that.
How do you explain that then?
That's so the customers can bowl while they eat. Convenient, ain't it? If you want to bowl, honey, you'll have to ask Mrs. Carpenter to open up. But if you just want to eat, then all you need to do is call my name. Got it? Oh.
Oula, 13 euros, 13 dollars.
Come back anytime, honey. You ain't gonna find any better Cajun food in all of Louisiana.
Carrément, l'autre, elle a des poupées vaudou avec elle.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Oh, howdy, stranger. My, you're a handsome one. You came out here from the city, didn't you? I can always spot you city folk from a mile away.
I'm FBI Special Agent Francis York Morgan. Would you mind calling me York, ma'am?
Oh, so you are from the FBI. I thought as much. So sophisticated. Well, my horoscope in the paper today told me I'd be meeting someone new. And those horoscopes never miss. They're the real deal. Well, one even predicted when I'd bowl my first perfect game. Oh, no. Oh, could you stand a bit closer to me? Whew, that was a close one. If you move any further that way, you'll cast a shadow over the lane. Well, the sheriff did that once, and something horrible happened. The next time I bowled, I got a gutter ball. First time in 12 years. I was mortified. And I am going to make sure nothing like that ever happens again. In our world, some routines lead to good things, while others only lead to the bad. So, you mustn't ever cast a shadow over the lane. Is that understood?
It's her routine, Zach. Understand? Just like us and coffee. Incidentally, ma'am, would you mind letting me use this lane too? I'm investigating the Lise Clarkson murder case. And I need to topple 10 maidens, no matter what it takes.
No, absolutely not. Not even the FBI can take my lane from me. I haven't given it up once ever since my husband passed away over a decade ago. I'll never break my promise to him.
But...
Now, if you'll excuse me.
C'est quoi ce regard? Sourire de psycho, quoi.
Ooh, you like that? That's what I'm talking about. Who's your mama?
Zach, it looks like negotiations have failed. Now I'm afraid we have no choice but to force her to let us use her bowling lane. Yes, I know. I won't do anything illegal. Excuse me, Mrs. Carpenter.
Stop! Not now. Can't you see I'm already in my bowling? What, are you blind? Holy mother of bowling balls. Let me pick up
Ouais,
this
c'est
spade.
routine, c'est rituel pour être sûr de gagner à chaque fois. C'est quoi après? Ah, c'est bon.
That stance, always works on a split.
Zach, our new friend, appears to be a very superstitious lady. We should try and utilize this trait of hers in order to gain access to the lane for... That was an amazing shot, Mrs. Carpenter. In fact, it may have been the most amazing shot I've ever seen. Speaking of which, where did you happen to find all those neat little... the ones you used to help you bowl that split just now?
Ooh, you got a keen eye there, Mr. Special Agent. Taken a liking to my collection, have you?
Oh, yes. A great liking.
I buy all my charms and power stones from Erzuli Frida.
Erzuli Frida.
Yes, it's a mystical establishment run by the Mirror.
The Mirror.
If you're interested, I can mark it on your map for you.
Zach, this is it. There must be a treasure trove of dubious trinkets on sale there. We may even be able to find something capable of changing her mind. It really feels like we're in the deep south now, doesn't it?
Et ben, temps de chargement quand on retourne à la ville, c'est l'horreur. Après, peut-être une scène cinématique. Je vais l'avais frisé.
I thought you came here to bowl.
Yes, I did.
Then why are you leaving? You gave up on trying to convince Mrs. Carpenter to let you play?
No, Patty, neither Zach nor I have given up on anything.
Normalement, il a bien dit qu'il avait le skate. Pas encore l'avoir. putain. Ça ramouille, ça ramouille. Je savais très bien que c'était pas pour le côté technique que je le prenais. Les arbres aussi. Popage des arbres là. Et les textures. Hop, un popé. Pourtant la machine elle a pas mal de mémoire.
A voodoo shop. It's a voodoo shop.
Just looks like a dumb souvenir shop to me.
Of course it does, Patty. You're much too young to understand the true value of such a place. Okay, Patty. I'm going to try asking you that question again. What do you do when you're at home?
I watch TV and look up stuff on the internet, I guess. Ain't much else to do when you're out in the middle of nowhere.
Really? For some reason, I envisioned you working hard to take care of all the chores around the house.
Well, of course I do stuff like that too. But doesn't everyone? Why bother talking about it?
Other kids your age don't help out their parents. They're too busy talking with their friends on the phone or through emails.
That's stupid. I don't get why everyone's so obsessed with taking pictures of themselves. Then they send them to their friends just to get approval? Talk about cringeworthy.
How do you prefer to boost your self-esteem, then?
I don't need to. I have my family. And besides, my daddy's the town sheriff. All I need to be happy is a normal life.
That's awfully mature of you.
Everyone else is just childish. I'm totally normal.
Okay, then. So what do you do after you finish all your chores? You don't turn on CNN and pour yourself some bourbon, do you?
CNN? That's kid stuff. What I watch is way more adult than that.
Like what? Live sports?
You just don't get it, Agent York. Full House, Friends,
Oh, bah oui.
Beverly Hills
Pour les
90210, sitcoms.
Bah.
Sitcoms are an all-in-one package. Dreams, love, life lessons, science fiction. They've got everything you'd ever want. And some cable channels just show reruns all day long. It's the best. Oh, but my favorite TV show is this old one called MacGyver. The main character is cute and smart. I don't know his real name, but I like him. Oh, and I also like Gil Grissom from CSI. I just think it's adorable how he keeps maggots inside his fridge.
Tu sais c'est quoi ce film?
Thank you, Patty. That was very informative. Well, what do you think, Zach? Her tastes are... they're a bit hard to describe. Wait, don't even say it. I know exactly what you're thinking, and I'm in full agreement. So you clearly love TV shows, but what about movies?
Movies? We don't even have a movie theater around here, so I can only watch what I manage to catch on TV.
Like what?
For some reason, the only movie channel we get at home is the sci-fi one, so I just watch a lot of sci-fi.
Like what? What's the last one you saw?
The one with Schwarzenegger, where there's all these clones.
The Sixth Day, 2000, directed by Roger Spottiswoode. You must be very well versed in sci-fi if you can appreciate an Arnold S. film.
I thought it was way too easy for them to make more clones. And you'd never see a clumsy investigation like that on CSI.
That's right. It's realistic. Everything about that film is so realistic. It may be difficult for a child to understand. But, Patty, that's not your fault. All of Arnold S.'s films are filled with hyper-realism. You know. On top of that, Roger Spottiswoode is a director who excels in dealing with hardcore subject matter. Turner and Hooch, Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. Each film features one of the toughest tag teams you'll ever find. I can see why it's beyond you, though.
No, what I'm trying to say is, Schwarzenegger's character was just a pilot, right? Why was he so strong?
It's okay, Patty. You don't need to try and act like an adult to impress me. I didn't understand the charm of Arnold S. films when I was your age either. You need to take your time and slowly reel the film in. Do that, and Arnold S. will greet you with a big, warm smile.
Whatever, just stop calling him Arnold S., okay? It's irritating me.
Zach, she's at a sensitive age. We both know full well that this is the official way to refer to the film star, but she isn't used to it, so it's bothering her. When in Rome, Schwarzenegger will greet you with a big, warm smile. Zach, my mouth feels weird. How many fingers do you think we'd need to count the number of people who actually call him Schwarzenegger? We'll just have to stomach it for her sake, Zach. Patty, we're investigating here. I think it's about time we cut the chit-chat and got back to work.
What? You're the one who brought it up, and you hardly even let me say anything.
Ouais, on va aller voir ce qu'il y a pour la mission. Parce qu'avec la gamine, on peut parler pendant des heures, apparemment. Ah, la statue là, comme dans ma chambre. Ah, DJ Reno.
This is all kid stuff. It's just a bunch of charms. I'm allowed to watch TV and go on the internet, but I ain't allowed in here? My daddy makes no sense sometimes. You agree, right, Agent York? This is all just kid stuff.
Look at this, Zach. All the mysticism of the Deep South gathered up into one quaint little shop. This is 100 times more exciting than the FBI evidence vault. It's a vast treasure chest. So much to study, so much to learn.
The mirror.
Thou art a seeker, and I see the object of thy desire. Doth this be what thou seekest? I could sell it to thee now, and only now. Surely fortune shall not bless thee with another chance. Purchase this, and know that thy wishes shall be granted.
That's crazy. Even I can tell you're getting cheated, Agent York.
I disagree, Patty. This person can be trusted. I've been studying people for quite a while, so I can tell. That figurine is connected to our future.
My price is true. What say thee?
$30, mais ça.
I'll buy it.
Thou art a man of... I am loath to part with it, but 'twould be a fool's errand to keep it from such a keen-eyed soul.
What's wrong with you? No normal person would ever buy a piece of junk like that.
Marvelous, isn't it, Zach? What a treasure. I can't wait to use it.
Use it? Where?
Isn't it obvious, Patty? I'm going to put it in front of Mrs. Carpenter's house.
In front of her house?
Yes. I'm sure this figurine will stop her right in her tracks, and that'll give us a chance to finally topple the 10 maidens.
Are you serious?
Of course I am. And so is Zach. Aren't you?
I'm seriously wondering if I should quit helping you out.
Tu m'étonnes. Je vais poser entre 22h30 et 6h. C'est un peu pour tout de suite.
Oh. Verily, Much shall serve thee well.
C'est ça, c'est des hôtels en fait, les trucs. Truc qu'il y a dans ma chambre et qu'on voit aussi là. Prendre de là. Ah mais d'accord, faut des matériaux. Il me l'avait dit, mais j'ai pas vu.
I can see it. Thou hast discovered the very purpose of my emporium, that is... Me...
Ah, il me semblait qu'il en avait dit que 4, ce con. Ça fait 4. Nouvelle quête, ouais. Faut bien penser à parler à tous les PNJ. Et de leur parler une nouvelle fois pour... on parle de bandana maintenant. Ah ouais mais... ok. Ah oui exact, c'est ça. c'est nul en fait. C'est quoi ce délire? Ah bah ouais tiens. Parle des profondeurs. Si vous cherchez la perle des profondeurs, vous devez aller parler à celui qui fait respecter la loi dans la ville. Ok, ouais, bah, le père de la gamine. Putain, j'ai eu peur, j'ai cru que ça avait frisé.
Whoa.
That was close.
Ouais,
Well, look at you,
tenue
all
rouge.
standing there like you're expecting me to apologize. Huh, it's your fault for not paying attention. What?
Got a moment?
Elle fait partie de la famille
Can't say I do.
qui appartient
I'm in a
au
hurry
pays.
here.
I won't take up too much of your time. I'd just like to ask you a few questions.
I said I'm in a hurry, Peckerwood. Now get out of my way.
Patty, who was that?
Kalina Clarkson. PJ Clarkson's second daughter, and Lisa's mother.
Zach, we've found ourselves a Clarkson.
Oh no, she's not here. My dolly. She's not here. My dolly isn't here.
One of the key persons in this case just came out of the woodwork to meet us. Now things are really getting interesting. Isn't that right, Zach?
Je pensais que je pourrais l'interroger tout de suite, mais apparemment... Il y a un temps de chargement. Ouais, mais en tout cas, c'est bien, bien comme le 1, quoi. On ressent bien la même ambiance. Après, voilà, hein, c'est des jeux qui prennent un peu de temps à placer le contexte, à en apprendre un peu sur l'univers et tout. Au début, on a un peu perdu, quoi. On découvre les meurtres, les indices, on interroge les gens, etc. Mais au début, on a un peu du mal à relier toutes les pièces du puzzle, quoi. Et au fur et à mesure qu'on avance dans le jeu, bah, on récupère des nouvelles pièces du puzzle qui nous permettent de bien comprendre l'ensemble. Après, il faudra voir aussi quand on va dans l'autre ville aussi, qui se passe apparemment plus tard. C'est ce qu'on voyait justement au début avec l'agente du FBI qui venait lui poser une question. Putain, c'est quoi ce bug? Il s'est envolé parce que j'ai couru sur le bord là. Pourquoi pas? Alors, où est-ce qu'il faut aller? Figurine alligator, c'est entre 22h30 et 6h, donc c'est pas tout de suite. Retourner à l'entrepôt. Là, ça on peut pas, du coup. Trouver de la nourriture. Du riz. Ouais, mais je sais pas où est-ce qu'on peut trouver ça. Est-ce qu'il y a un vendeur? On va mettre des logos dessus, on voit pas trop ce que c'est en fait. Marque établissement, en plus c'est écrit par-dessus, du coup on voit pas. Des trucs qui sont indiqués aussi sur la carte, mais quand on se met dessus, ça indique rien du tout. Alors ça quoi. Bon, je suis là. Ça c'est l'hôtel. Non, c'est ok, c'est là où est le département du shérif. Ça c'est l'église, le parc. Là c'est là où je dois aller pour voir le corps de la victime. Ça c'est quoi? Mrs. Carpenter House. Ah, ok, c'est là. Donc ouais, il a commencé à rajouter des notes sur la carte aussi. Lexus House. Il met les horaires d'ouverture aussi. Bref, bon du coup on va aller là. On va faire la quête. Hein. Oui. Serait-ce l'IA qui fait de la merde? Première vue. Première vue où l'IA est en train de faire de la merde. Personne à l'intérieur en plus. Et c'est la voiture fantôme. C'est de la voiture fantôme.
Patty, this town is so peaceful.
Excuse me? Did you forget that we're investigating a murder case?
True, but it's still far more peaceful than the city I live in.
Okay.
contre, ouais, j'ai pas compris comment faire pour sortir le skate. Ouais, donc peut-être pas l'utiliser maintenant. Ah bah, voilà, je dis des conneries. Il suffit d'appuyer sur Y. Ok.
Okay, Zach, it looks like we were right on the money. Tracing the Sang Rouge distribution route led us right to Louisiana. You know what that means. We've got a hot hand, and Lady Luck's given us far more favor than she ever has before. We just happened to hear news about Lisa's murder while sitting in a bar during our vacation in New Orleans. That certainly wouldn't have happened if we had stayed in D.C. They would have given the case to another special agent, or maybe even to...
Et l'autre est la 6ème suivre en courant. Téléphone, je vais faire une petite sauvegarde avant de rentrer. Son magnifique bus là. C'est la gamine qui a dessiné ça dessus. Hein. What the fuck.
Mr. York, that was mighty quick. The special agent does it again. You sure don't waste any time. I bet my CLG's got a lot to learn from you. By the way, Mr. York, looks to me like you aren't packing anything.
I was on vacation in New Orleans before I happened to stop by here.
Well, shoot, that won't do. Here, I got something I think you'll like.
C'est quoi ce pistolet?
I call him Mr. Alligator. It's a tranquilizer gun for the gators. And here's a radio. With this, you won't have to worry about any expensive roaming. Might take you a while to get used to them, but you'll get it. Try letting them rip a few times. Ain't no need to hold back out here.
Il y a un ballon aussi, je vais tirer sur le ballon. Dégainer les adèles. Ok. Ah bah, il y a le ballon.
I know. I don't, but you know what they say, Zach. Sometimes it's better to save the best for last. Let's finish our work up here first.
Beaucoup de ramage au moment de tirer. Bon, par contre, c'est beaucoup plus jouable que dans le... Ah, de ce côté-là, il n'y a rien à dire. Le gameplay a quand même bien évolué.
Now this is an intriguing weapon. For a tranquilizer gun, it really packs a... But I'm afraid I'll decline. After all, this town is peaceful, isn't it?
Well, sure it's peaceful. At least the humans are. But the animals, are a different story. There are some real mean-ass gators out there in the swamps. And every now and then, they wander into town. One of them even went and ate a kid once. It happened a long time ago, but still. One chomp's all it takes. They swallow down every last bit of you. Poor kid's parents didn't even know what to put in his coffin. The worst part is, that taught the gators just how tasty we humans are. So now, those suckers just attack on sight. Man-eating crocodiles will feast tonight.
You know he's fibbing, right? Gators don't attack folks. I never heard about no kid getting swallowed by a gator.
Actually, Patricia, you're wrong.
I'm what?
Alligators do attack people. And it could happen in any town.
Huh?
Alligator, 1980. Directed by Louis T. It takes place in the Midwest, I believe. A teenage girl's pet alligator gets flushed down the toilet. Then, after growing over 30 feet, it finally starts to go after humans. Yes, an extremely edifying move. Back when I first saw it, I had a pet hamster.
Hey, Agent York. What's your first order of business?
Genre, il se disait que peut-être en mettant l'hamster dans les toilettes, il
You're in charge
finirait
now,
aussi comme
remember?
l'alligator, 10 mètres de long.
Well said, Patricia. I nearly lost sight of my true goal. Melvin, I couldn't help but notice the name on the side of that truck. This facility is connected to the victim, isn't it?
Oh, right. Yeah. I reckon I better start from there. I'm gonna tell it to you straight right from the beginning, Mr. York. As you guessed, this warehouse is run by the Clarksons. The victim's father, Danny Clarkson, is the one who manages the whole place. Okay, but why did he choose to store her body in his own warehouse? Well, that's because there ain't no other place to store it. Our town has a clinic inside a church, but whenever someone kicks the bucket, we just bury him in the graveyard right outside of town. But not this time. We got a murder on our hands We need to give Lisa's body an autopsy and keep it stored, right? So we had no choice but to rent out a corner of this warehouse.
I see. So that's what led to the ingenious choice to store the victim's body in a facility that her family owns.
Anywho, this is where the real story begins. Truth is...
Missing.
Yeah.
Did you leave the warehouse unlocked?
I most certainly didn't. I locked the whole place up and made sure no one could get inside. No one stole the original key, and I couldn't find any fingerprints at the scene.
So, in other words, this is a locked room mystery.
The body of a beautiful young girl walks at midnight. Hey! All right, CLG. Reckon I should have told you about this earlier when you first said you wanted to come here. It just didn't seem like the time or place as I remember. Anywho, how about we call it a day and head back to my office?
No, thank you. This is what I came to investigate.
But Lisa's body isn't here anymore.
That doesn't bother me one bit, Melvin. You see, I met a skeletal gentleman on my way here, and he was... Patty, what's that?
That tree? Or the water tower?
That thing I'm pointing at. That.
Like I said, what?
That thing. Right there, Patty.
Just tell me what it is. How am I supposed to know which that you're referring to?
C'est quoi, il y a des
You're
zombies
goofing
dans
on
le
me,
ciel?
ain't you?
Ah ouais. Hop.
You holding up? Sure you don't want to wait outside?
I'll be fine, Daddy. Just make sure you don't take your eyes off of him. He's so selfish and inconsiderate. I'm still not convinced he's actually a real FBI agent. Look, he's talking to himself again.
Zach, this is the ambiguous zero. Let's hurry up and find that flying serpent, shall we?
Hey, Mr. York. You sure you want to keep investigating this place?
The skeletal gentleman gave me an oracle, remember?
Skeletal what?
He's just joking, Daddy. You can't take him seriously.
Huh? Well, I'll be. I see you've been hiding some real charm in it out.
Sorry, Melvin, but I'm dead serious.
Il est récupérable.
This is where the body was stored. Well, warehouse number 2. You sure it's okay for us to be lollygag? This place always gives me goosebumps, no matter how many times I come here.
Yes, it's quite the funhouse. True meat entertainment. That's the only way to describe it. Woven together by life, frozen in time, a fit.
Symphony. We eat all this in order to survive.
Yes, truly a symphony. Life and death.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Cool. Whoa now, CLG.
What are you so surprised for, Daddy? I'm more mature than you are. I've seen way more realistic corpses on CSI, you know.
Oh, man.
At first, Zach, I was shocked by the notion of storing a victim's body alongside food. But as I gaze upon this hanging garden, I realize it's just another scene of violent depravity. Yes. All we need to do is change our point of view, and things will expose themselves in utterly new ways.
Hey, Mr. York.
Melvin, if you have something to say, then just go on and say it. Otherwise, you'll simply be insulting this beautiful...
You think this is beautiful?
Oh, yes. It's the abnormal world that supports our normal lives. I think that's wonderful. Besides, look, Patricia seems to be handling this a lot better than you are.
Well, you see, I ain't too good with this.
Don't let it get to you, Daddy. Whew. Everyone has at least one thing they're afraid of. Even you, right, Agent York?
Something I'm afraid of?
Yeah, that's right. You gotta have at least one thing. Like clowns.
Clowns are so funny. How could anyone be scared of them?
Zombies.
Love them.
A bucket full of worms.
I could squeeze them with my bare hands.
The sound of screeching glass.
Doesn't bother me.
Then...
They cling to your skin like putrid leeches. The wet socks.
Melvin, you're a genius.
Just looking at this stuff gives me the heat.
Ils ont mis quelques employés dans l'entrepôt, mais les employés ils bougent pas. Ils restent devant des palettes et puis ils les regardent. Et si au cas où si les palettes elles essayaient de s'enfuir. Que des creves. C'est ça pour utiliser le troisième œil. Ça va apparaître des trucs. Le poisson. Là-bas il a trouvé un truc.
Melvin, I'd like to take this opportunity to ask you in the hotel parking lot when I first met you. The picture you had on your dashboard happened to catch my eye. Was that?
Oh, her? Yeah, that's my lady, all right. Candy. Her name's Candy, the prettiest girl in town, which makes me the happiest boy. A shooting star landed in a rural town, right on top of a man who now has a...
You always keep her photo with you?
Candy's a little sick right now. She can't even leave the house no more, so I always keep her photograph with me. Kind of feels like we're always together, you know?
I see. You care for your wife a great deal, but this means that...
Yeah, that's right. My mama had me before she married Daddy. But it don't matter. He's still my real daddy to me.
Oh, thank you, CLG. And you're my pride and joy.
Well, Zach, isn't this a heartwarming scene? But there's one thing I just can't get out of my mind. Don't you think that photograph looked a bit too old? Perhaps Candy is already... It might be a private matter, just like you, Zach.
Bien entendu, ils ont tout entendu de ce qu'il vient de dire. C'est surréaliste qu'ils se posent des questions.
We're almost to the moor.
You don't need to keep correcting yourself, Mel.
Des questions et pas dans la tête quoi. Directement. J'arrive plus à trouver le mot.
I know, but
À haute voix.
I'm starting to feel guilty all of a sudden. You know, it just ain't right to store a teenage girl's body in a place like this.
Still, rephrasing your sentences won't fix anything at this point. It's a shallow concern, really.
Yeah, I know. But shoot, I just felt like the least I could do is...
Don't bother trying to convince him, Daddy. I've only been working with him for a little while, but I already figured out what his deal is. He ain't right in the head. Whew. The FBI should add a new requirement to their hiring process. Must possess humanity.
I'm just gonna turn my brain off and follow your lead, okay?
Here we are, Zach. They stored the victim's body in a cold storage warehouse operated by her family. I'd love to shake the hand of whoever came up with that one.
Hey, Agent York. Did you just come here to laugh at rural officers who are doing the best they can? We don't have any special facilities like you people. What else did you expect us to do, huh? Don't compare us with city folk. This is Lucare. Or maybe you're just disappointed that you didn't get to see the bloated, decomposing corpse of a...
Sorry, you're right. I went a bit too far just now. But don't misunderstand. I honestly think it's a I'd never try and bully your daddy. Thank you for understanding. Boxes of the past or presence of the future. Either way, this is a curious time capsule. Forgotten boxes. Looks like shells. When were these boxes brought here? And when will they be taken? Zach, can you feel it? The perpetual boxes that got... I can't tell what's inside. What do you think, Zach? I'm gonna go with okra. I'm sure it must be okra. That's a... Zach, can you see that? Look closely. That's right. There are 4 imprints in the frost on the top of this. It's hard to believe, but I think these are fingerprints. Yes, Zach, that would lead one to believe that the body napper is a giant who's over 10 feet tall. An icicle. Never thought I'd see one of these down in the south. Look at the thermometer, Zach. It's at 10 degrees Fahrenheit, or minus 12.2 degrees. This must not be the ambiguous 0. These pallets are a mess. Looks like this area isn't used often. Still, the idea to store a body here, it's a novel, sophisticated idea, unlike anything I'd ever... This frost is shaped like something we're very used to seeing. That's right. Lisa's body must have been left here. But there are no signs that the bag was dragged away. So our criminal must possess monstrous strength. Zach, these are human footprints. And yes, Zach, I agree. These footprints must belong to someone who's used to... Seems like our flying serpent isn't here. Is this everything, Melvin? There aren't any other rooms in this warehouse? No special rooms?
Well, there is the luxury foods warehouse.
Luxury foods? Why didn't you say so earlier?
Just thought you wanted to see where the besides, it's underground, so it's even... you sure you really want to go down there? All life will come to an end. You feel me?
Let's head there at once. I'm sure that must be where we're meant to go.
But what about searching for Lisa's body?
All we need to do is find a 10-foot tall man with monstrous strength. That giant knows where she is.
10 foot tall?
But finding the flying serpent is more important right now. Now please, guide me to the luxury foods where these luxury foods are most likely being used in local Cajun cuisine. I'm so excited to see what we'll find. Aren't you?
Bon, donc c'était pas là. Utiliser l'ascenseur, c'était marqué.
A 10-foot tall. All right. Now that one's.
Je pense qu'on va devoir y repasser ici tout à l'heure, de toute façon.
That elevator needs a key, Mr. York.
Do you have one?
Actually, no. I didn't think you'd ever want to go down there. So I didn't bother to go and get one.
Well, then would you go and get one now?
Qui lui met des coups de coude en permanence.
Tell it to him straight. Thing is, Mr. York, well, they don't too much like the police, and they sure as hell don't like them when they're my color. It was real hard for me to get permission to open up this place for you to search through. So they ain't gonna be too happy if I go back to them now, asking for another key.
What should we do then?
Let's just find a worker here who can lower the elevator. All they need to do is take a break from their work for a couple minutes.
And what am I supposed to do? Just stand here and pretend like nothing's happening?
Yeah, you FBI folks are good at that, right? That's always what I see you do.
The elevator won't move without a... Think you two can go and... I'll search around here in the mean. I believe in you. I know they didn't make you a special agent.
Zach, I think we can move this. Better check back here as well, just to be on the safe. Zach, the human ability to adapt is a frightening thing. Some humans have the power to sleep anywhere as long as they set their minds to.
Ouais, bah moi j'arrive pas à dormir comme ça.
Now we should be able to operate the elevator. No need to worry. This facility no longer has a body to steal. What else do they have to lose? I feel bad for him, but it's for the sake of the investigation. I'll write him a letter of apology later.
Et voilà, je crois qu'on peut passer par là tout à l'heure.
Mr. York, did you find a key? Ha! Now that's my special agent. Want to head straight down?
You bet. Zach, look at that thermometer. 0 degrees Fahrenheit, or minus 17.7 degrees. This is the ambiguous zero.
Hey, Avery! Open the damn door, Avery! It ain't no use, Mr. York. Once Avery starts working on something, he just tunes out everything else. We'll have to wait until he finishes and comes out to us, I reckon. Or we could come back tomorrow.
I disagree. Time may be on our side, but that doesn't mean we should waste it. You gave me Mr. Alligator precisely for moments like these, didn't...
Wait, Mr. York! Those tranquilizers may be non-lethal, but it's still dangerous to use them.
Of course, Melvin. I never said I was going to shoot him.
You're gonna shoot some meat to get his attention. I'm right, ain't I?
Ouais, c'est un peu chiant là, le bandeau, une nouvelle quête a été ajoutée dans le journal.
I bet if you end up hurting a civilian, you can bet you'll be hearing from me.
Mais non, t'inquiète, je vais me laisser personne. Il est parano, là.
This is Mr. York, an agent from the FBI.
Hi, Avery. I'm Special Agent Francis York Morgan. Please, call me York.
York, you a smarty pants, huh?
He's shyer than he looks. Come on, just settle down, Avery. Tell him what this here place is for.
Lots of expensive food here, yup. Mighty precious to the Clarksons, so I gotta guard it.
I see. So you're this area's keeper?
Oh, I help with the research, too. I do like research.
Research? What are you talking about, Avery? This doesn't look like a lab to me.
Oh, ain't no lab. It's a warehouse. Ain't no lab. Smarty pant scientist does the research. I ain't no
C'est lui le
smarty
géant,
pants,
il se
no.
posait des questions.
He's a bit slow in the mind, but he ain't a bad guy. Oh. Your story about the giant who carried Lisa.
Voilà.
Don't tell me you think it's him.
Ah, si, c'est ce que je me dis.
I mean, it's true that he's free to come and go as he pleases in this warehouse, but...
No, as far as I can tell, he's just a bit over 6'5". The one who moved Lisa's body must be at least 10 feet tall.
Ouais.
He's clearly too short.
Too short, huh? Well, if you ever happen to find a man who makes him look small, I'd sure like to meet him.
Lise.
Hey, cut it out!
Lise? Why?
Avery, that's not Lise.
Not Lise?
This is Melvin's daughter, and my precious assistant. Unfortunately, Elise is no longer with us.
Lise! Lise!
Eh bien.
My fault! My fault!
Il serait de
I guess he's sort of like Lise, you know? See, the poor fella's got himself a childlike mind. You know how normal kids tease other kids in order to get attention? Well, with this big lug, sometimes folks who don't know him too well see something end up calling the police. But I know that deep down, he's got a good heart. Hey, Mr. York, I'll keep him busy, but I'd appreciate it if you'd hurry this particular inspection along. Just holler at me if you find anything. I reckon that'll make it easier for you to go do your thing, yeah?
Melvin, I think you're finally starting to catch on.
I'll keep an eye on him while we're here. Just relax, Avery. We'll get out of your way as soon as we're finished.
Clarkson food for their...
Melvin, is this the Clarksons' family?
Oh, yeah. That's the Clarkson. Ain't no big deal, though. You can find those all over town.
Is that so?
Well, yeah. They pretty much run all of this town's major industries. Yeah. I do believe they own just about everything there is to own. So their word is law. They got the whole darn town.
Je pense à un truc libellule, je crois que ça dit Dragonfly en anglais. Donc du coup c'est le dragon volant. C'est ce qu'il cherche.
Zach,
Ah bah là, le
this
serpent.
dragonfly is our flying serpent. The flying serpent owns this town. They're related to Lise Clarkson, our victim. And Hungan's oracle pointed us toward their family crest. The Clarksons must be deeply intertwined with this case. Melvin, Patricia, I think I've had enough of this frozen world. Let's head back out to that merciless sun. Well, what are you waiting for? I can't bear to spend another second there.
Ah merde, j'ai pas eu le temps de fouiller toute la pièce du coup. Ouais, bon bah voilà, l'enquête avance. Bon, elle avance. Si, maintenant on sait que c'est lié à la famille, mais bon, Clarkson, mais bon, ça je m'en doutais un peu. S'ils ont la main mise sur toute la ville, les chances qu'ils soient mêlés à tout ça. Bon, du coup, je vais me trouver un petit téléphone et puis je vais arrêter. Attends de voir ce qu'ils nous disent là. Pardon.
Whew. So, what do we do now, Mr. York?
Zach and I will take things from here.
Voilà.
Then what should I do?
Tend to your sick wife? I don't know. You're free to do as you please. I'll stop by the sheriff's office when I need your help again.
I suppose that's what I'll do then. It'll sure make Candy happy. But I am the sheriff of this town, so I do intend to get some work done. I know. How about I search for Lisa's body while you're busy?
Not a bad idea. Just be careful that you don't get attacked by a barefooted giant.
Hey, don't scare me like that. Why do you keep talking about that giant anyway? You really think some giant was responsible for all this?
Melvin, don't be silly. Of course I do. Just when I thought you were starting to catch on. Disappointing, to say the least.
But how can you be so sure?
Proof number one. The footprints that led up to where Lisa's body originally was were made with bare feet. None of the prints looked similar to those of common insulated boots, and the arches of the feet were visible. The person who carried out Lisa's body must have had very large feet. I'd say they were at least 6. Proof number two. I found fingerprints on the cord of one of the hanging lights. The fingerprints weren't aimed up from below. They were coming directly. Clearly, the giant moved the light because it was in his way. He pinched the cord with his fingers. Proof number three. There was nothing else found in the vicinity where Lisa's body was stored. This means the giant carried her out without dragging her across the floor, but there's only one set of footprints. The only conclusion I can draw from this is that a barefooted giant, standing over 10 feet tall, carried Lisa's body out. That concludes the entirety of my proof. Any objections, Melvin?
But there ain't no way a human could ever be that tall.
Have you seen every human alive with your own eyes? Well then, you need to forget all your preconceived notions when embarking on an investigation. Whether you come face to face with a 10-foot giant or a skeletal gentleman, you always need to accept everything that comes to you with a clear mind. Do that, and eventually the truth will reveal itself to you. You're a smart kid, I'm sure you understand.
Well, I'll be damned. I'm sorry I ever doubted you. A sharp eye and flawless observational skills. I won't ever question you again. Heck, I'll do whatever you say.
That's it, Melvin. Okay, time to go, Patty. You know this town well, so I'd like you to accompany me from now on.
Patty?
Il lui a déjà trouvé un diminutif et tout.
Zach, we found the flying serpent. Now we simply need to locate the 10 maidens. It's time to head on to Alexis's diner and lane.
Bah ouais, mais bon, pour pouvoir faire du bowling, faut poser les trucs. Faut poser la statue à 10h30 du soir. On va pouvoir faire quand ça? Bah non, ça se détruit pas les ballons apparemment. On en fait quoi alors? On verra ça plus tard. Qui c'est ces gens qui discutent là? Bonjour vous. Vous touchez le sol vous? Ou vous volez au-dessus du sol? J'avais l'impression qu'il volait au-dessus du sol. Non, c'est l'ombre qui fait une impression bizarre. Bon voilà, téléphone, faire une petite sauvegarde, puis on va arrêter là. Parfait. On prendra ça demain vers la même heure, je pense 20h30, 21h heure française, selon d'où vous regardez la vidéo. Voilà. Bon du coup voilà, comme vous voyez ça commence doucement, hein, l'univers et puis l'ambiance se pose petit à petit. Bon après par contre c'est promenade dans la ville, c'est Bouillyland, Clippingland aussi, ouais. Clippingland là avec tout qui apparaît d'un coup, pas mal. C'est bizarre parce que les arbres là-bas ils sont plus loin, mais ils sont chargés et là par contre là il y a du mal. C'est elle est gérée bizarrement la mémoire. Ouais, bizarre. À moins qu'il n'y ait qu'un seul modèle 3D pour les palmiers, qu'il n'y ait pas de niveau de détail inférieur que celui-là. Peut-être ça aussi. Bref, on aura le temps de découvrir la ville en saccadant un peu. Allez, j'espère que vous avez apprécié ce premier let's play en ma compagnie. Et puis voilà, j'essaye de pas trop parler non plus parce que c'est pas très utile non plus je pense. Puis de découvrir, le jeu se laisse découvrir par lui-même quoi. Donc voilà. Et écoutez, sur ce je vous souhaite une bonne fin de soirée pour ceux qui étaient là. Et puis pour ceux qui regardent le let's play, qui regardent le let's play en replay, écoutez, j'espère que vous avez apprécié cette première partie et puis du coup on se retrouve pour la suite très bientôt. Voilà. Merci et bon jeu à tous et puis à la prochaine, demain normalement c'est tout bien. Allez, ciao.